So back then, we were collecting. They were doing the crimes. They got sent to jail because you could only convict the guy who did the crime, even though I fucking sent the guy to go see a guy in a different way.
See him in a fucking different way. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how we benefited.
It's funny, too, and also in the Fear City documentary, I remember John A. was talking about something about how when Rico, when it came on the news, and then they saw that, like, you know, this guy was convicted, that guy was convicted, or Castellano got convicted. He's like, you know, we were fucking trying to figure it out like we're a couple of Harvard graduates over here. You remember when he said that? Yeah. He's like, everybody all of a sudden, he said all these wise guys, they went to Harvard all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And they're telling me about this or that. I was like, that was funny, too.
Yeah, I mean, you could just picture him going like, he talking to smart guy, going, you know, yeah, I know you went to Harvard and all that. You went to Harvard, but I mean, let's be honest. If you like sucking dicks too, right?
Yeah, it's what.
I mean, that comes with the fucking package. You're picking up a buck.
What is the podcast? Can we get John A. Light's podcast and promote it a little bit here? I mean, why not? We're gonna have to do something.
We gotta do something. You know what? Let's fucking whatever his podcast name is. Let's reach out to him and say you should change the name of the podcast to "Come See Me in a Different Way."
John A. Light and Gene Borello. This is the guy, Gene Borello. If you look at the Vlad TV. Go Vlad TV, put in John A. Light, Gene Borello. The podcast, both these guys were on, and I guess they're doing a podcast together. I bet you the podcast is fascinating. Yeah. The Johnny and Gene show. Because can we listen? Can we hear it?
Can we just at least hear it? We don't got to see it.
Can we hear a couple of minutes of it, or
I just want to see.
Or can we not?
Yeah. I mean, how funny if he turned it on? He was talking about dining room feng shui.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, "Hey, what's up? This is John A. Light. Welcome back."
The name of the podcast studio is Concrete Podcast.
Yeah, I mean, the kid is still jacked. He will hurt you.
Okay.
Wait a second.
I mean, he'll fucking crush this kid.
I mean,
who's this fucking Democrat?
What the fuck is going on here?
We got to get on this guy's podcast.
I know. This guy will fucking hurt you.
He'll hurt you bad.
Yeah.
Major.
Yeah, I mean, these guys always talk about truckloads. Because in a day in the life of a guy who was a soldier for the mafia, at some point during the day, he's going to say the word truckload.
Truckload. Do you think guys in the mafia ever just have to dip into a Rite Aid to get some Claritin and take their blood pressure? Do you think these guys ever were like, you know what? I know we got a job. We got to cut this guy up, but I'm sneezing. My sinuses are crazy right now. So can we just stop and get a little Claritin decongestant and maybe if just no decongestant because the decongestant raised my blood pressure?
That was a funny thing when they you know, I was listening to this other documentary where they said they would tap the social club of John Gotti and others before or whatever, and he said you think mobsters' conversations are real interesting, but a lot of the time it's even more boring because they know it or suspect they're being tapped. So the guys would talk about spaghetti endlessly. They basically the mafia started in the 1920s. That's when it really kicked off.
That's what really kicked off in the United States. I mean, it was going on in Sicily for a while. And I think it's still relatively prevalent in Sicily. I think just in the United States did it really get fucked with Rico. Can you go up a little bit?
They're just kind of like imitation Greeks.
Right.
They're kind of like not the real deal. You know what I mean? Like they just we shouldn't have did what we did, which was create logic and reason mathematics, because the Italians just took all that and just started robbing banks and shit.
They just know a way to just kind of catch a break. I know there was a I forgot what it was, but now a lot of people have done it. There was a restaurant, I think in Little Italy, that there was like a squid shortage with calamari, fresh calamari.
Which is a fucking tragedy in the Italian community.
Yeah, calamari. There was a fucking...
What did you do with the great calamari shortage of 96?
Yeah, the calamari.
Where were you when they ran out of calamari?
One of the mafia foot soldiers found out a way, because the prices were going up in squid for whatever reason, that he just was like, he fucking started putting pig anus and making it look like calamari.
Is that true story? Because that was a rumor.
No, that's real. Throwing that in red sauce, and then so now a lot of times when you go to like a not classy Italian place, they'll have fucking imitation calamari's pig asshole, and some mafia foot soldier guy that found out how to do that.
That's an example of an Italian guy. It's an Italian guy getting...
He's got a good sense of humor.
No, it's an example of an Italian guy getting screwed in and making calamari in a different way.
In a different way.
Yeah, he did it in a different way.
And then you have very smart businessmen. There was the man Michael Francesi, who's also in Fear City documentary and also did a Vlad TV interview. Very, very famous guy. He was like the businessman of this all. I believe it's Michael Francesi. Was making something like $5 million a month doing just business deals. And you watch him and you're like... You listen to him and you're like, this guy is so... beyond intelligent, but he'll also come at you in a different way.
Okay.
If you know, yeah, here it is. Fear City is one. I personally thought it's one of the best things Netflix has put out in all of quarantine.
It's great. And if you
Michael
want to
Francese,
boil down the Sicilian Mafia into one sentence, it's basically that. They say, hey, we're here to do business. We are going to do it this way. And if you don't abide by what we want and how we want to do it, we will see you in a different way.
But I think anything in real estate, waste management, the docks in New York or New Jersey, it's all still to this day somehow mafia owned somewhere. Donald Trump is mafia. It's mafia money that's run. He didn't get those buildings from his dad. That's mafia stuff that put those buildings up.
There was an era where if you were doing any building in New York, you had to deal with concrete companies and unions and work. And yeah, they were all in that. And then the mafia got broken up. The star of the show who really broke up the mafia, who had their tentacles in all these legitimate businesses, they were extorting everybody, like you said, like with the trash guy. What he's doing is he's eliminating the competition. What they basically, the mafia is like, that is what the mafia is we'll come see you in a different way. Do business with us. Give us money. You can't really boil down the mafia better than that sentence.
We're going to name this episode, we'll come see you in a different way.
Or come see you in a different way.
That's the name of this.
So, and that's
we might make that a t-shirt too. We're going to come see you in a different way.
Come see you in a fucking different way. And then you guess who's going to come see us in a different way for using his saying and making money. Yeah. We really hope you enjoyed that episode, whatever it was about. This is just a stock thing that we're taping onto every episode. So go, make sure you rate, review us, subscribe, turn on your notifications, get jiggy with it.
And go to patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys where things get really wild.